Indiana Fever's dilemma affecting Caitlin Clark. Should they prioritize Lexie Hull over Sophie Cunningham in free agency? Hull's toughness, dependability, and steady growth make her the type of player the Fever cannot afford to lose. After coming within a single win of reaching the WNBA Finals, the Indiana Fever are entering the offseason with both optimism and difficult decisions ahead. General Manager Amber Cox made it clear that Kelsey Mitchell sits at the top of the team's re-signing list, though the Fever have several other names to consider. Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, Damaris Dantas, Sydney Colson, Brianna Turner, Odyssey Sims, and Ari McDonald are all unrestricted free agents, while Lexie Hull and Christy Wallace enter restricted free agency. The small forward position, which has alternated between Hull and Cunningham, is one of the biggest question marks. Cunningham's experience and offensive spark can't be dismissed, but her ongoing recovery from a torn MCL raises uncertainty. Hull, meanwhile, proved her worth through availability, defensive consistency, and meaningful progress on both ends of the court, making her the logical cornerstone at the position. Lexie Hull's durability and all-around growth give Indiana stability. When the Fever needed reliability, Lexie Hull delivered. She was one of only 4 Indiana players, joining Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Natasha Howard, to play in every single game this past season. That consistency became invaluable for a roster that dealt with constant lineup changes due to injuries. Hull's toughness stood out throughout the grind of the regular season and playoffs. She even played through visible bruises, including multiple games with a black eye, without missing time. Her growth on offense also told the story of a player evolving into a legitimate two-way contributor. After a breakout 2024 season in which she shot 47.1% from three-point range, Hull expanded her volume while maintaining efficiency, converting 36.7% from deep on double the attempts. Her scoring average rose from 5.5 to 7.2 points per game, and she elevated her performance under playoff pressure, averaging 10.3 points while hitting double figures in half of Indiana's postseason contests. Hull began 2025 coming off the bench, but when injuries hit, she seamlessly transitioned into the starting lineup. Her defensive versatility became a major asset, guarding perimeter scorers one night and taking on bigger wings the next. That willingness to adapt and fill gaps was one of the defining traits of Indiana's resilience throughout the season. Cunningham, before her injury, had been enjoying a career-best year from the field, posting personal highs in both field goal and three-point percentage. Still, Hull's dependability made her indispensable, particularly for a team that's still building chemistry around its young core. The Indiana Fever are heading into the 2026 WNBA free agency period with a problem most teams dream of: too much potential and not enough space. But for the Fever, this isn't just about roster depth or cap management. It's about chemistry, identity, and perhaps most importantly, making sure their franchise cornerstone, Caitlin Clark, has the right teammates to thrive. The question dominating Fever Nation right now is simple yet divisive. Should Indiana prioritize re-signing Lexie Hull, a longtime teammate and defensive anchor, or Sophie Cunningham, the fiery sharpshooter who brought veteran grit and attitude to the roster? This dilemma isn't just about basketball, it's about loyalty, leadership, and the direction of the franchise. Lexie Hull, the silent glue. Lexie Hull has quietly built her reputation as one of the most disciplined and dependable two-way players in the WNBA. Drafted in 2022, Hull's growth has been steady, not flashy, not headline-grabbing, but effective. Her chemistry with Caitlin Clark was evident the moment Clark entered the league. While Caitlin dazzled fans with deep threes and laser passes, Hull handled the dirty work, hustling for loose balls, rotating perfectly on defense, and knocking down timely corner threes. More importantly, she plays a selfless brand of basketball that allows stars like Clark to shine. She doesn't demand the ball or take unnecessary shots. She moves without it, creates spacing, and provides the kind of defensive backbone that championship teams need. Clark has publicly praised Hull in interviews, emphasizing how her defense changes games. Behind the scenes, Hull is reportedly one of the most respected locker room presences, calm, positive, and relentlessly professional. But in a league that thrives on star power and offensive fireworks, Players like Hull sometimes go underappreciated. She's not a highlight machine or a social media favorite. She's simply reliable, and sometimes reliability gets overlooked. Sophie Cunningham, the spark plug. Then there's Sophie Cunningham, the fan favorite, the emotional heartbeat, the kind of player who refuses to back down. Cunningham arrived in Indiana with a reputation for intensity and competitiveness, and she didn't disappoint. She brought swagger to a young Fever squad still learning to win. She talked trash when the team needed confidence. She hit clutch shots when the moment demanded it. Cunningham is the type of player who injects life into every possession, someone who plays with fire even when her stats don't tell the full story. Her chemistry with Caitlin Clark took longer to develop, but once it clicked, it was electric. Cunningham's ability to stretch the floor complements Clark's playmaking perfectly. When teams double Clark off the pick and roll, Cunningham is often the first to make them pay with a corner three or a fearless drive to the basket. More than that, Sophie brings experience, a rare commodity on a roster filled with youth. Her leadership during tough stretches in the 2025 season helped steady the team when pressure mounted. She may not always make the prettiest plays, but she makes the emotional ones, the kind that rally teammates and ignite crowds. The dilemma. Both players bring something unique. Hull provides stability, Cunningham provides spark. But retaining both might not be financially feasible. The Fever's cap sheet is tightening, and other teams are eyeing both players in free agency. That's where the Caitlin Clark factor comes in. Clark's influence on the franchise is undeniable. She's the face of the Fever, perhaps even the face of the WNBA. Every move Indiana makes must align with maximizing her potential and happiness. The big question is, which player helps Clark more? Chemistry versus energy. If Indiana chooses Lexie Hull, they double down on chemistry and defense. Hull and Clark already share an intuitive understanding on the court. Hull's unselfishness allows Clark to dominate possessions, while her defensive versatility hides some of Clark's weaknesses on that end. But choosing Sophie Cunningham means choosing fire, an edge that can't be taught. Clark, who plays with intense passion herself, seems to feed off Cunningham's energy. When Sophie hits a big shot or draws a charge, the entire Fever bench erupts, and so does Clark. That emotional synergy can turn games around. The dilemma isn't about who's better. It's about what kind of team the Fever want to be. Do they want to be the calm, methodical unit that grinds out wins through execution, or the fiery, emotional squad that overwhelms opponents with confidence and attitude? The locker room factor. Inside the locker room, both women have strong supporters.